This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. In lieu of our usual 7-minute preamble open, we've resorted to just a short "here we are" and have at it. So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilowatt 8, Echo Papa Sierra.
Echo Papa Sierra, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Echo Papa Sierra, Roger, Roger. What's the name? The name is Eric, located near Columbus, Ohio, running a Kenwood TS-890S and about 600 watts. I spoke to you recently after I constructed my first Electret microphone, and I had a question about how those operate.
Roger, Roger, Eric, go ahead.
Roger, Roger, Eric, go ahead. Okay, now I'm broadcasting right now on a Heil PR40. I use that one because I think it's got a better sound overall for I'm on. So, now, with the Electrets, I've built three different manufacturers of the element, the condenser element. And what I've noticed, Jim, is I cannot run much compression. It's like they're really sensitive for compression. If instead of a 30 out of 100 for this Heil dynamic mic, the Electrets want to run around 2 or 4, maybe even 8 on compression. And I do not understand why, if I have the microphone level set correctly for my ALC, why I have to dial back the compression so much just for the Electrets.
Roger, Roger. Could be the frequency content in the room, but that's one way of looking at it. What I'm saying is maybe the frequency response capabilities of the Electret microphone far exceed those of the dynamic mic, which we know in the top end that happens. But it would seem to me that if you set your ALC with your audio tone, that is in generality probably about between 500 and 800 hertz, that tone. So if you set that with both of them, it would, and you would have to do that with the compressor processor off. In other words, let's see, probably the safest way to set those would be, let's see here, I would think off, because the higher output of the Electret microphone would affect the compressor if the compressor were on at the time of set level. Roger?
Set level, Roger. I understand. I have worked through that. That was one of the things I was trying to eliminate, and I really didn't see much of an improvement in that regard. Now what's interesting, Jim, I started out, when I made my first one, it was a Radio Shack condenser element, and it was 3 wires. You connected your B+ into 1 wire. You connected a 1 microfarad non-polarized capacitor to the audio output, and then you had your ground. That particular element, I can run around 15 on the compression, and it sounds really good. Then I got 2 other elements. One was a CalRad, which is probably similar to the old Radio Shack, but it's just 2 wires. And I had another one from China. And both of those ended up, I need to run my compression at 4 or 2. Otherwise it sounds a little too harsh. And I'm still running my microphone level maybe 10 higher than I am on this Heil right now. So I even played the game of sensitivity the condensers. Some of the condenser elements I've tried were minus 64 dB. One was minus 50 dB, and it had lots of gain. But they all behaved the same way when it came to the compression, and whether I ran it with the compressor off and set the mic level, or ran it then with the compressor on, it seemed like I just couldn't get up much compression, or it sounded very harsh.
Roger, Roger. Well, it could be the tonality of the Electret mic. In other words, some of your settings might be more basic to wideband audio frequency response versus other settings for that mic that might make it more mid-rangey or top end or bottom end, whichever it may be. What you would probably want to do would be to run an additional frequency response characteristic of the element that you're looking at to see exactly what's happening tonality-wise to the spectrum as the microphone performs. Roger, it might be super hot in the middle. It might be not super, but it might be cold in the middle, or the top or the bottom. Until you run a frequency response characteristic, you would not be able to determine that, probably just by ear.
Roger, I understand. If I had to gauge, as I look at my spectrum analyzer, it is very robust in the mid-range, but yet it's still got a good signal level on the higher end, and I'm running my EQ flat, as you recommended, with just a hint of a maybe 2 dB kick up after or below 300, just to balance things out. And it looks pretty flat on all three microphones as far as my spectrum analyzer shows. So I'm wondering if maybe I could hook up my my last one that I've done that seems to have the best spectrum and have you listen to that.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, and the best way to run that frequency response is take compressor off, come in the front, mic gain at minus 50 or whatever, and let's see. Then you would want a voltmeter to look at the output of that Electret mic at lower levels. I guess the output would be somewhere around 40 or something like that. But the other thing is, take the best 1 out of 3 and run with it.
Okay. Yeah, I can do all that as far as analyzing it. I've got a scope and meter and my spectrum analyzer. So I can do that. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that the last element, which was the CalRad brand, that one seemed to have the best tonality for my voice, anyhow. And I think I ended up at a compressor level of 4 and running about 58 or 60. Out of 100 on my ALC mic level, whereas like with this Heil mic, I'm running 54 right now for that level, and I'm running 30 for the compressor. So I can do that. I think if I had to judge, Jim, it sounds to me like the Electret would be better for doing DX and contest work because it does seem to emphasize the upper level, I guess, syllables and everything, and makes it just a little more easy to understand if there's a lot of noise. Whereas this Heil is very well balanced across the board, but to me it sounds like it's more for rag chew. I guess I could ask you right now what you think about the setup of this Heil PR40.
Oh, just beautiful. Sounds really, really good. Do all those Electret mics have crispers built in?
Crispers
built in?
Yes, sir. I did it the same way, the way you described it, and made sure that, in fact, what I've done is I've taken a Shure SM58 studio mic, handheld, and I have built 3, I'm going to call them cartridges. I built 3 Electret microphones with the associated capacitor and wires and grounds, etc., to an XLR 3-pin that I can just push into the bottom of the microphone, and they all have crispers, and then I can test each microphone the same way with a foam filter and having the Electret in exactly the same place. I built them identical so I could do that testing.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, there's 2 things. Bottom line, what I do after I do meters and stuff like that, I've got this microphone online, and I'm going hello 1 2 3, and I'm listening on cans to the output of the transmitter, you know, in monitor, very low level, but I can hear it, you know, and I go 1 2 3 4. And then I listen for the pump up, if there is some. There usually is. Even at a 3, there's a slight amount of suck up between words, which nobody usually hears, except if you're really looking for it. And that's how I determine exactly where that compressor processor is working correctly, because I just want that to be barely heard, probably just by me. Nobody else is going to hear that, but and then I know that that 3 is the ideal slot for the compression processor level. Roger?
Processor level, Roger.
Roger, this is Kilowatt 8 Echo Papa Sierra. That's exactly how I ended up listening to my Electret microphones on monitor with headphones and listening for the suck up, and I would turn it down from 30 to 25 to 20 to 15 to 10, and it would get better and better, and then when I'd get below 5, and depending on the Electret element, it might be 2 or it might be 4, on compression, I wasn't really hearing the suck up to any kind of a noticeable amount. So that's exactly how I tried to configure my compressor as a way of getting it set to the right level so it wasn't sucking up. You've talked about that ever since I've been listening to you for a couple of years, and so I was sensitive to that. And when I was able, like with this high microphone, I'm running 30 on compression, and it doesn't really have much of a suck up on it. But the other ones, if I was 10 or higher, I could hear that background noise sucking up, and it didn't really go away till I went below 5. And I was just curious if that was a characteristic of Electrets, or was I not getting them configured the way that you would?
Well, this brings up the Bob Heil trick in the book there. You know, his original challenge was to bring up the mic level on the 7300 to where it more naturally inclined to be 100% modulation at around the midpoint on the mic volume capability. So there was a realization that Electret mics had by far and away better power output than dynamic microphones. So that's why he deliberately chose the Electret microphone for the 7300 to bring that that mic input level up, or you know, to gel with the mic volume level control. Roger.
Level control. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, and I've been kind of watching since my standard being the Heil dynamic and running around 54 right now on the mic level. If I had to go to 60 or 66 with an Electret, I didn't feel like that was that far out of range, and I'm certainly not having to run a 20 or something where I'm kind of out of the optimal range for the amplifier. So I'm trying to keep it there in the middle, because you've talked about that a lot over the years, and I use that as one of my guidelines to, if I can, stay between like 45 and 70 on any microphone. But this Heil is running 54 with a compression level of 30 out of 100, and the Electret is running about 64 on a mic level with a flat EQ, and it's able to run a compressor where I'm not getting the suck up, other than, like you said, if I've got headphones on, I can just hear it coming up. So I'm trying to stay in that middle range where everything was designed to operate.
Roger, Roger. Well, I would assume that there would be a maybe 20 dB difference between a dynamic microphone output and just a straight Electret microphone output. I've never really looked at it that close, but I do know that the Electret was way hotter usually than the dynamic mic. Roger?
Dynamic mic, Roger.
Roger. I think this PR40 is listed at like minus 55 dB, something like that, maybe 56. And the Electrets went anywhere from 50 to 60 to 64, minus 64. And I noticed that, because this is a journey for me as an engineer, I noticed that I would have to bounce my mic level up when I was running a minus 64 versus a minus 50. So I've been playing that game. Just running a CRISPR on all three setups, I'll tell you, Jim, it sounds crisp. The audio sounds really crisp, and it's really punchy in that 24 to 27 to 3,000 range. Great articulation, and that's why I said I think that the Electrets would be great if I was working a contest or trying to do DX.
Roger, Roger. So you're on the dynamic mic at the moment?
Yes, I'm on the Heil PR40, and I do have the Electret hanging up here on a boom. It would take me about probably 60 seconds to change over.
Okay, go ahead and change over. Pick the mic that you like the best, that you think sounds the best. Set it up, as far as compression, processing, and the EQ, and come back with that and let me listen to it. Now, Eric is in the middle of the hocus pocus change the mic element situation here, and when he comes back, he'll be on the his favorite home-built Electret microphone featuring auto CRISPR and a foam windscreen. Well, slow coming, but foam windscreen.
Foam windscreen.
I got somebody I think is on Vox. Somebody, if you have your radio on Vox, kindly take it off. I keep getting slapped in the face every once in a while, please.
Every once in a while, please.
There it goes right there. That's a Vox for sure. Or maybe just a QRMer on time. Hard to say. Let's just see where that is. Right now I'm copying the mail on my PA-SDR. I'm going to go to my Kentucky SDR and just see what that click transfer does. Gosh, don't hear that down in Kentucky. Let me go up to New York. Nothing in New York. Go to stand by.
Yeah, stand by.
This is KC9VKV. We're standing by for Eric. Eric, you got a copy?
Eric, you got a copy?
I'm not getting my audio through like I was, and I'm not sure why that is. Let me get back over here on the Heil. Yeah, I was not getting audio from my Electret, and I don't know what that was. I don't want to use up your time to troubleshoot that. But what we'll do, Jim, I will start working on figuring out what the heck happened with my audio, figuring out what the heck happened with, and then you and I can get back together, and you can give me a read on that.
Yeah, Roger. We'll sounds good to me. I can think, measure your B+, make sure you've got voltage there. And I was trying to think of something else. Give me a shout back when things tend to be working correctly in your setup, Roger.
Your setup, Roger.
And I appreciate your time, because I really do like the way that sounds for doing the DX work. It is just so crisp, but it's a little confusing to me why I can't run the same level or anything near it for compression. So that's where we are, and we'll get off here, and we'll let you get to some other folks. Hopefully there'll be some more people trying to get on to talk with you. But thanks a lot, and it's good to hear you back. You've been missing for about 3 weeks, and I was hoping everything was okay. So you take care of Electret working again.
Roger, Eric. Well, we're trying to be here and be on the air. It has been an interesting journey. And we are, like I say, we are here for the moment. We may not make the whole day, but we'll try. If all things work out and all of my settings, one way or the other, work. But good to hear you, Eric. And I think that it ultimately gets down to what sounds really good. I mean, you can do all kind of tests, and this, is hot and that's hot, or the other thing. But ultimately, it is the sound that you create. However mysterious you conjure these tonalities that really make the difference. Voltage doesn't, at some point has no difference slightly. Although if you have a big voltage dip or something, the element ceases to work. But all things considered, it is what it is, and if you like it and it sounds good and you're an engineer, so you know what you're talking about. So I'll listen for you. Give me a shot when you can. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.